Hi, my name is Amanda Kong, and I am one of the pre-health advisors in the College of Arts and Sciences here in Tyson Hall. And today I'm going to be talking to you about occupational therapy prerequisites. So this presentation will go over all of the classes that you'll need to get you into about 80 to 90% of occupational therapy programs. Those are going to be the common prerequisites. We'll also go over any outline prerequisites that may vary, any highly recommended courses, as well as the nuances of this coursework. The goal of this presentation is to help orient you to the kinds of classes that you're going to be taking in order to pursue this career path, and to help you get started on figuring out how to fit them into your schedule, no matter what major you are. So, the common requirements for occupational therapy programs are held at the doctoral level here. We're going to start with general chemistry. So you need 1/4 of general chemistry, which is Chem 221. And bear in mind that these common requirements for OTD programs are different than your major requirements, and they are also different than any university requirements, right? So even though OTD programs might require just 1/4 of Chem 221, no lab, you might be in a major that does require the lab, right? So be sure to think about that. And you'll notice here that I have Chem 222 and Chem 223 highlighted in yellow. I'll talk about those more towards the end of the slide. So after general chemistry, or that 1/4 of general chemistry, you're going to also take some biology 211 and 212. The labs are embedded within those courses. So Bio 211 and Bio 212 are actually 5 credits each. So instead of doing like a 4-credit class and a 2-credit lab, right? When you take these classes, you're technically taking a 3-credit course and a 2-credit lab all at the same time. Um, After that, you'll need 1 year of anatomy and physiology. So that's going to be Hyphy 321, 322, 323, 324, 325. You'll also need 1/4 of sociology or cultural anthropology. So options here at UO could be sociology 204, which accounts for your social science core eds as well as your US cultural literacy requirement. Or you could take anthropology 161, which again is the social science core ed, but this time it covers your global perspectives requirement. You'll also need to take 1/4 of statistics. Generally, that's going to be Stats 243Z, but you might be in a major like psychology or neuroscience, biology or anthropology that might require you to take a different statistics class. For example, Psych 302 or Math 425. You cannot take Math 425 if you've taken Stats 243. And if you've taken AP Stats, that often comes in as 243. So double check those things. If you're a biology major, I do highly recommend that you try to take Math 425 because that will also count as part of the MAPS requirement of your degree. You'll also need 1/4 of psychology. That would be psychology 202, which also counts for your social science core eds. And that's because that's the prerequisite for psychology 308, which is lifespan development, and you need 1/4 of that as well. You'll also need 1/4 of abnormal psychology. So we don't actually have that here at UO. We have psychopathology, Psych 309. So for this requirement, you should double check with individual programs to see if they would accept this as a substitute for abnormal psychology. You'll also need to take medical terminology, Hyphy 211, and scientific investigations in physiology, Hyphy 212. So now let's discuss those yellow courses. So all of these courses highlighted in yellow, Chem 222, Chem 223, Biology 211, and Biology 212, and Hyphy 212, those are actually not required for occupational therapy programs, but they are prerequisites for the anatomy and physiology sequence here at UO. So even though you don't have to take them for OT programs, you do have to take them in order to get to this 1 year of anatomy and physiology. So here are some requirements that may vary. So for anatomy and physiology, some programs might want you to take a little bit more A&P than other programs. So it is worth it to research individual programs to see how many units of anatomy and physiology or credits they're asking you to fulfill. Um, the plus side of this is that you can actually do all of your occupational therapy prerequisites at the community college level. So you'll need to take 1/4 of chemistry there, but they have chemistry 112, which is chemistry for health professions, and bio 112, which is biology for health professions. And those two classes are what you need in order to get into their anatomy and physiology sequence, which at Lane is bio 231, 232, and 233. So as you can see, there are a lot less prerequisite courses to do, and the sequence itself is actually a lot less time and credits, right? So that could be a nice option. You can also do the psychology there. Here are the lifespan development class, Psych 215, and they actually do have abnormal psychology, Psych 239. So another option is just taking the psychology classes at Lane, and then doing the rest of the OT prerequisites, here at UO. That could also be a possibility, right? So basically, you have a lot of choice here. You can choose to do your prerequisites here at UO, or you can choose them to do you can choose to do them at the community college level. This also gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of timeline, right? So if you're coming to this decision kind of late in your degree, know that you do have a kind of faster option to cover these prerequisites at the community college level. There are some other nuances to be aware of. So for example, you need a C or better on these prerequisite courses, right? And they all have to be graded. So if you are taking a class and it ends up turning into a pass, no pass situation, whether that's because of first term grade forgiveness, or whether that's because you are electing to take it pass, no pass in order to protect your GPA, doesn't matter. I'm glad that you are doing that because it is good to protect your GPA, but you will need to retake it at some point for a grade. You should also be aware that prerequisites can expire. So usually anatomy and physiology is required to be taken within 5 to 7 years of entering your OTD program. Right, so be aware of that in terms of your application process. Not all programs accept AP or IB credit, so it's always good to, again, do that research and double check. And then again, just a friendly reminder, you can take these prerequisites at the community college level. Okay, so for a general rule of thumb, follow the common requirements list, right? Again, that's going to get you to eligible to apply to about 80 or 90% of programs. Then research programs that you might be interested in through the American Occupational Therapy Association. They have a program directory where you can search by state or by, application requirements even, to take a look at some of the programs that will be useful for you or suitable for your needs, will train you to become the kind of occupational therapist you want to be, right? Take a quick look at those programs to make sure the vibe is right and that you are matching with the kind of principles and morals of that program. But B, to also take a look to see if they need any prerequisites that may fall outside of the common requirements list, right? Again, some programs may want more or less of anatomy and physiology. They might also have certain requirements about the kind of lab that's acceptable, and that kind of stuff. So again, take a double look. When you're looking and researching those programs, they might be using language that is a little bit unfamiliar to you because here at UO, we're on a quarter system, but those programs might be on a semester system. And so might be listing things in terms of semester credit, right? So in order to convert semester credit to quarter credit, you're actually going to multiply the semester credit by 1.5. So for example, if a school says that you need 3 semester credits of biochemistry, right, you're going to multiply 3 by 1.5 to get 4.5 quarter credits. Now, if you run into the situation, right, you need 4.5 quarter credits of something, what do you do? Because generally the classes here at UO are 4 credits, right? So number one, reach out to the program. Usually probably 80% of the time it's totally okay, and they'll, round up or down, depending on the requirement, right? So if you are needing 4.5 credits, but our class is only 4 credits, they might say, you know what, that's close enough. It's okay. But you should be getting in contact with the admissions school to ask, because some schools are super strict about that policy. And they say, if you need 4.5 credits, then you need to take another class and either get it to, 8 credits, 6 credits, whatever credits it is, as long as it covers that 4.5, right? There can be programs that are like that. So it is always worth it to shoot an email to their admissions rep and ask. That's what they're paid to do. They're here to help sort you out, and to give you the best chance, right, to be admitted to that program. So it's totally okay to email them and ask them whether 4 credits is enough, or whether they want 4.5 quarter credits. And explain that you're coming from a quarter system and that you're doing the conversion from the semester credit, right? If you're trying to do the opposite, right? So if they are listing in quarter credits, but you're going to a community college that is in a semester system, right? What you're going to do is you're going to divide the quarter credits by 1.5. So for example, Bio 211, which is 5 credits, is actually going to be 3.3 semester credits at a semester school. Okay, so we're actually going to release a whole other video that discusses the nuances of grad planning and kind of takes you through how to figure out how these prerequisites are going to fit in with your schedule and fit in with your major requirements and your university requirements. So when you're watching that video, we're going to ask you to consider a couple of things, right? Which is, one, we have prerequisites to these courses here at the University of Oregon, right? So for example, you can't get into Bio 214 without having done Chem 223 and Bio 212, right? So when you're doing your grad plan, you're going to need to research these courses and make sure that you know whether or not they have prereqs that you need to take before you can put that in your plan. Right. If you need to retake a class because you didn't do as well as you wanted to, right? Does that need to happen? Is it a prerequisite for any other classes, right? Is it going to prevent you from advancing in a sequence, right? Think about those things in terms of where you put that retake or where you position that retake. Are you thinking about taking any classes over the summer, either STEM classes or your core ed classes? You can do core ed classes over the summer to free up room for some more science in the year, or vice versa, right? Maybe you need to take some science over the summer in order to catch up, right? Think about how to best utilize those summer terms. So watch that video. That's going to be the next one to do, and sit down with, the course catalog and some notepads and paper, and start to fill out that grad plan and start to figure out how to fit these classes into your schedule. Once you've done that, definitely feel free to email it to pre-health advising or your major advisor for a double check to make sure that you've got all your requirements in there and that you're not missing anything required to graduate. There are there's a lot of traffic in the fall, and so it can be tough to get an appointment, right? So please see your major advisor. Please email us at prehealthadvising@uoregon.edu. If you've got any questions or concerns, we can help figure out whether or not you need an appointment and get you scheduled. Okay, thank you very much, and good luck on your occupational therapy journey.